All right, so
fill us in.
A big part yesterday was them going through text messages, the defense attorneys, because they are fighting to prove that Cassie was a willing participant in the freak-offs, that there was no force, there was no coercion. So they going through these text messages. Basically, it was a ton of them. And she's in the text messages saying she's down for the freak-off. Also, she's in these text messages planning, how she said Puff was the ultimate choreographer of these things? She's giving very much Lorianne Gibson. She was choreographing her dang self in these text messages.
Oh, wow.
So what they did was, which I thought was again brilliant, and it blew the prosecution's setup up. The day that Diddy and Cassie got into that fight at the Intercontinental Hotel, the video that CNN dropped, when the prosecution presented the narrative around it, okay, let's give y'all some background info, they only used 3 texts from the day of March 5th. The defense attorneys was let's go back to March 3rd. And let's lead you into where the prosecutors, y'all talked about text messages.
And that was 2017, right?
2016.
16. Okay.
Yes. So when they took it back, it was such a different conversation. And I don't understand why the prosecution wouldn't have included this and got ahead of that. So in the text messages, Cassie and Diddy are having a conversation days leading in, and they're sexting, and a lot of the explicit text messages they wouldn't read in court, so I don't know exactly what she was saying, but they were sexting a bit. She sent, I believe it was 4 or 5 sexual text messages. She's initiating that. Puff is really on some I'm proud of you, because she did have that big movie premiere coming up. So he's yo, I'm proud of you. You got this weekend coming up. They talking about accessories for her outfit. And then she's so it gets to the weekend, right? It gets to the day that they did that freak off, and she's trying to figure out what her plans are. And he's okay, well, I'm down to do whatever you want to do. Let me know what you got going on. So she's I want to see my baby. And then they start, and now they're having a conversation about the freak off, and he's telling her, since you want to do this, you plan it. Call the guy from the male escort service they were using, and Cowboys or something like that, and get who you want. You set up how this one is going to go. He even said to her in text messages if you want, we can sit back and just watch. We don't have to even participate. And they asked her, but they was okay, so what does that mean? Sit back and just watch. There were also text messages from another so that created a whole different narrative around that, right? But there were also text messages. Remember, she talked about being forced to do it on her period and stuff like that. There was text messages where she mentioned being on her period, and he didn't force her to do anything on her period. He kind of backed off of it. He was okay, bet, cool. The text messages that they showed yesterday in court, that whole force, that coercion thing, it blew that up.
No, I listen, I'm just being objective here, right? Diddy's legal team has already conceded to some aspects of his conduct.
Yes, 100%.
So they're just trying to say, in regards to Cassie, it wasn't coercion, it was consensual.
Yes.
Correct. Now, those text messages go all the way back to 2009.
Yes.
Right? And
then, they even before, they had 2007, I think, is some text.
Okay, so the ones that are from 2017, all Cassie is going to say is that she said whatever needed to be said, because if she didn't comply, he would beat her up or be violent to her. She already admitted that she loved him. Yep. She said she also was afraid of him. That's typical in an abusive relationship.
100%.
So that when you no, I don't believe that blows up the prosecution.
The only thing that I will say back to that, because I said the same thing too, because also that's that text thread is from 3 days out of a 10-year relationship, right? So there has to be way more. We know there's way more because we've seen the evidence of him being physical,
I disagree.
right?
It shows that she was involved and that she wasn't being forced. But I think they.
But what if she was afraid? When she takes this, next time she takes the stand and they ask,
when she texts him to ask about it, I think it's going to show that she wanted to do it just as much as he wanted to do it.
No, but she said she already has contextualized that.
Right.
She contextualized that her first couple of days in court by saying, I did whatever I had to do and said whatever I had to say in order not to get my freaking face beat.
But I think so. Seeing that, and that's what I'm saying, because for instance, there was one text from 2009. That's the one where she says, to correct it. That's the one where she directly says, "I'm always down to freak off." And then later she talks about how she wants it to be she wants it dirty, she wants it aggressive, she wants it whatever. So that why they did that, because they're trying to show if he was aggressive at all. She asked for that, but
she was down with it.
Yeah, but I just think that in the text messages leading up to that Intercontinental video, he was so gentle in the conversation. But she also said she
didn't want a woman in that position. She didn't want him with any other woman. She wanted to be the only woman.
Yeah.
But the Cassie thing, I don't think it's going to be as explosive as Dawn and James Cruz, right? And the reason I think Dawn Richard, because they both announced yesterday they're going to be on the witness stand, is there was no that we know of relationship. So this is straight off of There is no. I don't. There's
We
no. I
might
don't have the
find
same
out why
love.
Q was crying in that Vlad TV interview.
You're right.
Yeah.
And same thing with James Cruz. James Cruz was the manager.
Yo,
so the
James
fact
Cruz
that the
saw so
prosecution
much.
is calling James Cruz, and the fact that the
Well,
prosecution is calling Dawn.
Cassie said that James Cruz and D-Rock cried one time when they saw her get beat up. But listen, can it get more explosive than nut on a nipple? Another man's
Yes.
nut?
Yes.
Rubbed on a nipple? You think you gonna get better than that?
The oil being warmed up.
Yes, because Dawn Richards was there, and there's no love for him. So she's not letting anything back. I'm sure Cassie's still being a little sensitive, but James Cruz and Dawn, those will be explosive.
And also, too, Loren, you said something.
And James Cruz was his ex-manager, by the way.
You
for people
said something,
listening.
right? You said something about, Diddy was being gentle in text messages. That means nothing. Because we saw the hotel video. So you can be gentle in a text message, but then in person.
No. The only reason I brought that up is because we saw the hotel video, but when Cassie talked about the hotel video in court, the way that she framed how the lead up to that was, like even their interaction while she was on stand, it came off as very much like
aggressive.
Oh my God, I'm just here. I don't want to be here. My body is being like used, bruised, and like almost like literally like a sex slave almost. But then you see the conversation, and he's like, we shouldn't do the freak off because you got this big movie premiere. Let's start early so you can get some rest. You gotta take it. Basically, he's trying to look out for her in that situation.
She wanted to do the freak off right before she went to work.
Yeah, but he kept saying that. He was like, "Too bad you got work. Too bad you got work.
Right.
We should do it early. You should get rest." But her narrative was completely different. Even though we saw
Niggas
that
wasn't
video, it
playing
just
about
makes
them
you think
freak-offs,
like
boy.
I'm confused because they also brought in basically what's your motive? Is it vengeance? Because they read another text about Kim Porter. Cassie was upset that she never got to spend holidays with Diddy, and Kim Porter did. And it was apparent that she felt the way about the woman Gina, which is what broke up their relationship. Michael B. Jordan got some strays in here. It was revealed that
So they had a meeting with Kid Cudi before they blew up a car. Allegedly,
they went to dinner with Kid Cudi. Puff sat them both down and wanted to have a conversation about the relationship. They brought that up yesterday because she made it seem like he sat them down because he's big bag Puff trying to scare him. Defense said no, he sat y'all down because he introduced y'all. He felt the way about that. He put you in the studio with him, and then you go grab a burner phone and start dealing with him. Of course he gonna sit y'all down.
Did Kid Cudi say in that meeting, "Well, why you burning my car"?
No, the car thing hadn't happened yet. He said, "What about my car?" Because I think Cassie had kind of warned him. Like he said, this is gonna happen, and Puff was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. What car?"
I guarantee you today, all the prosecution is going to say, they're going to ask Cassie questions, and Cassie's going to say she told Diddy whatever she needed to tell him because she was afraid.
100%.
That's I guarantee.
100%.
I just wanted to keep him
that
happy.
would be the way to go anyway. That would be the most sensible thing to say.
Yeah. I just wanted to keep him happy because I was afraid. If she already said if I didn't do what he wanted me to do, he'd beat me up and all types of other stuff. So.
Do y'all feel like, in wrapping this up, question for the room, they spent a lot of time talking about withdrawals with Cassie, and not even in relation to Puff. They were asking her, like, how is it when you withdraw from drugs? Because they were both doing that a lot. And she talked about how you get angry, you get irritated. Then they brought it to Puff and said, well, when he was withdrawing, were your days worse with him and his anger? And she was like, oh, yeah, for sure. They did that because they're trying to give reason behind a lot of what we saw in those videos. Y'all think that's going to help him?
No.
No, it's not going to help him.
Hitting a woman and beating a woman, there's no
drugs
excuse
not an
for that.
excuse for that.
Nah, there's no excuse for
A
that.
withdrawal is not. First of all, you're not even supposed to be that strong on a withdrawal. Like you're supposed to be sick, illin'. Like, nah, that's not going to help.
I just want the record to show. I didn't know how they were going to tie Rico together. I see it now because I see Nino Brown. I see Cassie being G Money.
Bro,
I can see.
busting it
I know
down,
who Dutta
ain't
Man
they?
is.
Yeah,
I can see what
I be in court like, yo, she laying it out right now. But I will say, she said,
G Money. All you gotta do is tell on the organization.
But that's what it seems like.
That's right.
She's possibly doing.
G Money didn't want to be down no more. You know what I mean? And when he didn't want to be down
but
no more
my
and started
thing
doing
is,
his
will
own thing,
But my thing is,
Nino
will
took him
she
to the
be
roof.
penalized because she was down at one point?
Who's the light skinned cute accountant though?
You.
Yo, shut up,
The tapes ain't come out yet. We got 8 more weeks, baby. We got 8 more weeks. Okay?
You heard me, Loren?
huh?
My thing is, will she be penalized because she was down at one point?
That's what
She
Envy is
was
kinda asking,
initiating
too.
at one point.
I asked, and I was told that there's rumors that there was a conversation about immunity with her, but I'm going to try and get some more confirmed information on that because I keep saying that like she was complicit at some point.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Loren. Have a safe day in court today.
Thank you.
And don't step over anybody else again. Yo, Loren was.
I got sneakers on today.
Oh, you got sneakers on today? She was walking with the high heels, stepping over people.
You be bringing deodorant, right?
Yeah, she
I
sure
didn't even
was.
play the interview. It's okay.
You be bringing deodorant?
What?
I be thinking about that. I'm like, damn, Lauren
I'm
be there
sitting
all
in-
day. You
I'm-
can't be
What, for other
musty
people?
I'm
representing us.
sitting in an air-conditioned courtroom, and they shout out to the marshals of the court. A lot of people are big fans of the show, and they just like to take. They're really nice there.
Let Loren in.
They take. I'm fine. I'm doing.
Escort her in. Make sure she good.
The marshals there are super nice.
All right.
And I'm in air conditioning. Musty. Ain't nobody running around like you.
Wake that ass up in the morning. The Breakfast Club.